If you ask your parents or maybe your grandparents what their toys were made of, you will hear multiple different answers, but likely not plastic. The same goes if you ask them about how their food was packaged, if they were packaged at all. You see, plastic is a relatively recent thing, at least popularly so. Up until the 60s, it wasn't part of everyone's daily lives. Today, well, things have definitely changed. Today, we find plastic everywhere, and I do mean everywhere. From the toys our kids play with, to a newborn's meconium, from the bottom of the ocean to the blood in our bodies. There's so much plastic in the world, we don't know what to do with it. So let's talk about it. Hi, and welcome to Mama's Footprint. I'm Dr. Poliana Raymer. I'm a community college professor teaching environmental and conservation biology. I'm also a mom. My girls' names are Beatrice and Sophia, and this channel is a project dedicated to them. So let's quickly go back to the origins of plastic. The first plastic material was produced in 1862, but plastic manufacturers only started making consumer products in the 1950s as an outlet for the materials they developed during the war. From then on, plastics became progressively cheaper and more popular worldwide. The issue here is that for decades, we've been misled about recycling plastic. We thought that as long as we recycled the plastic we used, we were good. The problem is that over 91% of plastic is not being recycled at all, regardless of if we're throwing that plastic in a recycling bin or not. And that little bit that's recycled will only have one more life before it's no longer conventionally recyclable, and it ends up in the landfill. For more on plastic recycling, take a look at the video posted above. Let's talk about plastic in the oceans. Now, you might think, I don't live near the ocean, so I don't contribute to that problem. It's not that simple. Plastic that is light enough to be carried by rain or maybe not properly disposed of, or is found in mismanaged waste systems, can ultimately be washed to the nearest waterway. And all waterways lead to the ocean, no matter how far. Our oceans are filled with plastic. According to Ocean Conservancy, the equivalent of a garbage truck full of plastic enters our ocean every minute of every day, all year long. And this plastic boom has happened so fast that animals have not had time to evolve to distinguish it from food. Plastic may look like algae or plankton or fish. It impacts nearly 700 ocean species, from plankton to whales. It's found in nearly 60% of seabirds and 100% of sea turtles. This may ultimately become fatal due to extreme malnutrition and mechanical damage to their digestive tracts. Some of the plastic floating around is macro, meaning it's bigger than 5 millimeters and can be easily seen. Much of it, though, is called microplastic. These teeny tiny little bits of plastic are the ones saturating our oceans, but also our bodies. To better understand them, we need to split them into primary and secondary microplastic. Primary microplastic is the one that comes directly from factories. These used to include microbeads, the ones we use to find in cosmetics for exfoliation, for example, but thankfully, they were banned in the US by the FDA in 2015. Primary microplastic can also be pre-production pellets, also known as nurdles, beads, or resins. This nurdle is the building block of almost all plastic products. Every year, trillions of nurdles are produced from natural gas or crude oil, shipped to factories around the world, melted and poured into molds that will ultimately become the plastic products we use every day. The issue is that these nurdles aren't perfectly contained in these factories. They're so small and light that they easily find their way out, especially during transportation. According to Vox, under current conditions, about 10 trillion nurdles are projected to infiltrate marine ecosystems around the world each year. These nurdles become the second most abundant source of microplastic in the ocean after tire dust. Then there is secondary microplastic, which is the weathered plastic from synthetic fibers like the nylon in our clothes or fishing nets, and fragments of plastic waste like straws, cups, bags, and bottles. There are more questions than answers as far as what microplastics and nanoplastics can do in the bodies of humans and other animals. As of now, we know that microplastic in blood could lead to cell death and inflammation. Plastics also contain hormone disrupting chemicals such as phthalates and BPA, which could affect reproductive, metabolic, and neurological health. An article published in Science by Leslie and collaborators in 2022 points out that microplastic is found in the blood of up to 80% of all adult humans. Ouch! And I wish I could tell you that children are free from plastic in their bodies, but unfortunately, Zhang and collaborators have proven otherwise. Their paper, published in 2021, states that the feces of babies contained 10 times more microplastics than that of adults. We can go even earlier in the baby's life and cite Braun and collaborators in their 2021 paper, showing us that microplastic was found in the mother's placenta and in the newborn's meconium, or their very first poop. A side note that Zhang's team also found microplastic in meconium. Notice that all these citations are recent and there's so much to unfold from them. But in any case, the common agreement is that this is alarming. We're talking about individuals who are in their very early stages of development, meaning that they are more prone to negative health effects. For the research on microplastic in baby versus adult feces, the researchers looked for traces of PET and polycarbonate. These are types of plastic typically found in durable plastic goods, such as plastic toys, baby bottles, sippy cups, and pacifiers. The speculation is that these items may shed pieces of plastic, especially PET. Other speculative sources of microplastic may include our carpet and laundry lint. As the world moves toward renewable energy, the demand for fossil fuels is expected to decline. Think the oil and gas industry will simply pack up and leave? No. Instead, they are increasingly investing in plastic production. This production is expected to triple by 2050. Are you starting to feel like your family is drowning in plastic? I understand that feeling very well. Remember, though, that as consumers, we do have the power to speak up about what materials we want in our children's toys, bottles, sippy cups. We speak up through what we choose to have in our homes. Have you ever heard of voting with your dollar? This is the perfect example of it. Each time you choose a wooden toy over a plastic one, you're speaking up. When you buy a low or no plastic sippy cup for your toddler, you're speaking up. Whenever you place your kiddo's aluminum water bottle in their backpack rather than a plastic one, you're speaking up. When you choose reusable bags or when you choose to buy something without plastic packaging, you're speaking up. The list goes on. My point is that the oil and gas industry is trying to shift our full dependence on fossil fuels to our full dependence on plastic, but we can push back. It's tempting not to, since plastic should become cheaper and cheaper over time. Keep in mind, though, that what is financially cheaper may actually be very costly for our health and our environment. As consumers, we should think long-term, not short-term. Now, you might be curious, do my kids have plastic toys? Absolutely they do, especially those hand-me-down ones. Am I getting rid of them immediately? I'm not. First, because my kids would be very upset with me, and second, because in most cases, I would just be adding to the waste problem. Instead, I'm phasing them out. What does that mean? It means that I personally avoid replacing outgrown toys with new plastic ones. Anytime I want to purchase something for them, I prioritize something less harmful, like wood, paper, or cloth. Again, I'm not 100% there, but I persistently continue walking that path to more sustainable choices. Though I always try to bring positivity in my videos, I understand this one was a little harder to process and that some hard to swallow bits made up a good chunk of it. I do hope this video inspired you to phase out plastic from your home. Not just single-use plastic, but also durable ones. I also hope that you can see that these changes are not just for short-term sake, but for the sake of long-term health of our family and our planet. On my next video, I'll show you some ideas of reusable items that you can use with your kids in replacement of single-use ones. Thank you so much for watching, friends, and stay tuned.